Hey, everybody, this is Jim Kurtz with Expansion Marketing. And today I want to discuss a topic that I think has been on everybody's mind. If you're in marketing or if you're just a business owner and you want to improve your copywriting, improve your flexibility, make more sales, obviously, then this question, will AI replace human copywriters, is a very central question to ask. Now, if you've been under a rock for the last 6 months or a year, you probably haven't heard about ChatGPT and AI in general. Now, AI and ChatGPT are essentially language models that are designed to improve a robotic or automated responses to various things, enabling artificial intelligence to interact more like humans, right? However, marketers have figured out that ChatGPT and other types of AI models can actually pull from a tremendous amount of data and can actually not only mimic human speech and human responses, but they can also enable human beings to create a lot of content. For example, I can program in just a quick little prompt and I can say, type me in a 1,000 word essay on global warming or climate change, right? And then it will spit out literally in seconds, a 1,000 word article. And that's great if you're a business and you're trying to create blog articles on the topic, right? And you can also type in stuff like, make it SEO around this particular keyword. So you could say, I want to write a 1,000 word article on the effects of fertilizer on climate change with SEO for climate change, right? In other words, then it will reevaluate and reword that so that it will create the 1,000 word article, but with specific keywords attached to it. So it's really good for SEO purposes, right? But what do we think of when we look at really copywriting? Well, good copywriting is not just a bunch of content. It's not just for SEO so that Google and other search engines can find you. Good copywriting really should invoke emotion. It should get the reader or listener or viewer engaged in what you're talking about. And if it doesn't do that, if it doesn't have that emotion, if it doesn't have those nuances, if it doesn't really know the audience or avatar you're trying to communicate to, then a lot of times it's just going to kind of appear flat. Now, I'm obviously not trying to invoke a lot of emotion in this video. However, I would like to say that, I'm doing this for educational purposes, but I would like to say that it is important, right? It is important as a business owner that if you're writing content, especially if it's marketing content, the whole purpose of marketing should be to sell something at the end of the day. Sell your products, sell your services, get your reader or audience engaged around your ideas or your business or your products so that they can make purchases and it will generate revenue, right? That's really what's pretty much the purpose of marketing. And if we lose sight of that fact, if we just start trying to do everything for what the search engines want, then we lose sight of the fact that once people hit your website, once people hit the landing page, or once people hit your email campaign, if it's just constantly flat informational purposes, people will get bored, they get distracted, and they move away. So good copywriting is going to incorporate things like emotion. What kind of emotion do you want your audience or readers to feel? What kinds of attitudes do you want them to have about your products? If they have a particular problem that your product or service solves, how do you want them to feel about the problem? Well, you want them to really be motivated not to be stuck in that problem, and you want to show them how your product is the solution, maybe even the savior that they've been looking for, right? And it really depends how you want to structure that. It really depends on what your business is, what your product and service is, or what your customers are looking for, what problems they face, that kind of stuff. And all of that is part of good copywriting. Now, I will say that as a copywriter and as a marketer, I will use AI tools like ChatGPT for research purposes, right? I will say, okay, like for example, if I'm writing in the agriculture space, I will find out like how specific types of fertilizers influence plant growth, right? And then I will discuss how my product can help that fertilizer do its job more effectively or help the plants utilize that fertilizer more effectively, right? So I'll use ChatGPT and AI to develop research articles, and I'll even put references, right? So I have it create a response, but then I'll ask for references, and then it will tell me where it generated that response to. That's very, very important for research, right? You want to be able to cite the sources that you're getting this from. And AI by default doesn't tell you those sources, right? But for research purposes, it's really good because you can actually find a lot of information that it's more difficult to go through Google and other search engines. It's more difficult to find that information for research. So as a copywriter, when I'm doing my research phase, a lot of times AI can be very, very helpful with that. AI can also be really good for generating kind of a template, like, write me an article, a 500-word article about climate change and how this particular thing affects climate change. And it will spit out an article for you, right? Now I'll take that article and now I will use that as my template or as my baseline. And now I can actually take and rewrite and re-edit and do various things with it, embellish on certain topics, maybe leave some things out. I can actually work with that as a template. So that will help the writer's block or that brain freeze you might have, right? So it gives me a template. So I'm not just staring at a blank screen or an empty page. I can actually see, okay, here's a good starting point, and it will generate ideas. And then now I can take that and apply my own copywriting skills to develop a really good article for myself or my client. So I do think AI is going to be a very useful tool for copywriting and marketing, but I don't think that the harbinger of all marketing and all human involvement in marketing and copywriting and these things is anywhere near on the horizon. I think that human beings have to talk to human beings, and I don't think AI has gotten to that point yet where it can really actually understand human emotion to the degree that it can actually then create something that will impinge upon the audience so that they actually have a reaction and an emotional attachment and engagement, which of course then will translate to more likes and more responses, and hopefully for the businesses, hopefully more services and products being sold and value being exchanged. Now, I developed this, of course, this podcast that we're going to be developing in my blog. I'm actually developing this more toward an educational thing for business owners and marketers also to be able to take this into account. Now, if you're a business owner and you want a good copywriter and you want somebody who can help you engage with an audience and help you engage and generate interest in your company and your product and what you're doing, then of course we can help you here at Expansion Marketing. So give us a call or actually just send us an email. That's probably the best way, expansionmarketingfl@gmail.com. Our website's coming up very soon. You can also find us at Writing That Works on Facebook as a group there. We have a lot of content there. But take a look at us and let's work together so that your business can help expand and really engage in your audience, because that's the most important thing. If you leave out that human component, if you make it just a dry, basic marketing that's just information based, you're going to be losing a lot of customers that you should be getting. Because if your product and service is good, then your customers should want to buy it. And it's a lot of times it's more than just a logical decision. Well, this makes sense because it has all the bullet points that I'm looking for. Sometimes it's like they really need to be pulled in. They really need to be aware that, hey, this is a problem they need to solve, and they need to solve it now, and your product or service is the solution. So if you want that type of marketing that really engages and not just enlightens, but engages people and makes them interested in you and what you're doing and your product and service, then give us a call. Okay. My number and everything will be on our website, which will be up very shortly. Our email address is also in the description. And of course, you can check out our blog and other materials as well. Hopefully talk to you guys very soon.